Hello there, this is Ted from The Devil's in the Detail. I've spent a couple of hours flatting the rear part of the rear quarter. There's some lots and lots of fish eyes or bits of dust that had settled in the paint, and I've had to flat them out and take enough off so that it doesn't leave what it looks like a pinhole. So I've been flatting that off. I've done 2,000, 2,500 and 3,000. And now I can start looking along the panel and find out where it's interrupted. Now, let's see if I can just show this. I'm trying to get the light's reflection. As usual, I'm trying to get it so that it's not interrupted. And if you look at this light here, there's a slight wobble in the paint, as you can just see it distorting the light. So I'm going to go back to the flatting now, and I'm going to keep blocking it, keep checking the paint readings, make sure that there is plenty of paint on this car. But I just want, if I can get rid of that wobble, then it should, like I've got rid of a lot along this edge, but just as we approach the wheel arch, now I expect wobbles down here where the curves are, but I don't want the wobbles on the flat panel if I can do something with it. Now there is enough paint, and I do think I can iron that out with more flatting, so I'm going to go back to that and just see if I can just straighten that little kink out of it, and then I want to just polish some of this section just to make sure that I've got rid of all the orange peel that I want to. If it's not how I expect it, when I've polished a little patch, I'll flat it all again until I'm satisfied that I'm getting the finish that I want. But that kink was a lot worse earlier, so it is coming out. So I'm just going to give it some more, and hopefully the next video I show will show it gone, or as close to gone as damn it anyway. Right, I'm going to carry on, and I'll see if I can show some more later. But you can see the light moving. You know, I want that light to be straight and not have that little kink. So here we go. See you a bit later. Moving on with the Escort, I've flatted with 2,000, 2,500 and 3,000, and I've just cutting out the flatting marks that I've put in the panel, and this is coming out quite nicely. But when we get to close to the wheel arch, you can see that there's distortion in the light. Now see if I can zoom this, give a better view of it. And what this is the panel has been flatted around that way, and it's got finger marks where they've flatted the panel to paint it, but rather than blocking it, they've used their hand and basically puts little grooves in the underneath of it. So what I plan to do now is, I've got my flat little block, and I'm going to flat that way across all the ridges and flatten that out so that the light will then hopefully reflect better, because I've got this virtually to where I want it to be, This is still going to have 2 stages more of polishing, but I want to get this part right and then move around the wheel arch, because it's going to be the same all the way around the arch. See if I can show the level of distortion that it does to the light. And I'm just going to keep working my way around the car. It's a slow process, but to get good results, these are the things you have to do. You know, this is not going to be done in a week, and I'm not even going to attempt to, because I'm trying to get inch by inch the best finish that I can achieve. And then it should look a lot better. I mean, even the bit that you can see I haven't done the top of the wing yet, but it's already looks a different colour. It looks more red, it's got more depth, and this will get greater as I go through the stages of polishing. So this is what I'm going to be doing for the next few hours, is just flattening this. You can see I've masked up the curvature so that I don't keep blocking into the raised area, because it will take too much paint off the wheel arch. So I've masked it to the end of the flat bit, and I'll just flat across that way until I achieve what I want to, and it should look a lot better by the time that's finished. So I'm going to get on with this now, and you know, it's showing a lot of promise as we go. You know, it's not a 5-minute job, but you don't get great results quickly in this game. So, you know, this is it's very satisfying, you know, when you're working on something that you love as well. You know, it's very satisfying when you know that you're making things a lot better than they came in, which is what we're here for, to be honest. And you wouldn't expect anything else, would you? Right, I'll see you a little bit later. I'm going to be getting on with the flatting, and I'll do another video later. See you then. Well, it's taken a whole day to get this lower half of the rear quarter to where I wanted it to be. I've flatted it, polished it, flatted it again, polished it again, and now I feel satisfied that I've got the result that I wanted. The lower half under here has taken a lot of work to get right, but if we move over to this panel, you can see what the difference is. So now I've done the lower half of this quarter. This is the part that I was on earlier, and you can see that the disturbance of the light is nowhere near what it was this morning, so I'm really pleased. It's a million times sharper. So I'm going to start moving on to the upper part of the rear quarter and see if we can get the same result on it. But I'm really pleased, it's coming on. Right, I'm going to crack on. Moving on with the rear quarter panel. I've taken the screws out of this moulding that's attached to the gutter trim, and I've pulled it away so that I can flat the part that would be underneath, so that we don't get any edging, and make it smoother. I'm coming down the C-pillar and moving into the top of the rear wing. As you can see, we've got a little bit of peel to deal with, so we're going to smooth that out, and then I can move on to this panel and get it to that sort of finish. So it's all moving on. There are, you know, some, see if I can get these in. See, there's some little gremlins in the paint there. I'm going to try and remove those. Do our best. There's also more gremlins in the paint. The problems for us is we don't want to get too close to the edges of the panels, because with flatting and polishing, and there's less paint on the curves of the edges than there is on the flat panel, so we have to try and stay away as much as possible. But there's orange peel right up to the edge and some imperfections to deal with, so sometimes you just got to do what you got to do and hope for the best, you know, because if I get this smooth and then it's orange peel on the edge, when you look across the boot, you know, from the rear of the car, you're going to clearly see the orange peel. So it's one of them jobs where you just have to try and rely on your experience to see what you can do with it. But I'm not going to go too mad. You know, I don't want to end up having to paint the rear quarter. So I just thought I'd show the next stage and where we're going with it. I mean, the car looks great from a distance, you know what I mean? It's just that, like most projects, there's little bits to be ironed out. But I'd have this car any day of the week. Right, I'm going to get on with it, and I'll see you a bit later. I've now moved down to the waistline, and I just wanted to show we've got a low spot. Now I've been blocking it, and as you can see, it's not reached the orange peel that's in the low spot, and it puts a big kink in. So there's a lot of imperfections as well that I need to get out. Let's see if I could get one to show up. Quite difficult with my camera skills to actually show it, but there are bits of dirt, lots of scratches down this edge. So I'm blocking down to the tape line as much as I can to try and get it all level, but obviously the low, I'm going to have to block quite a lot off to try and level that out. It's more difficult to see actually with the light on than not, but you normally see the way the light changes, it shows up the low in the panel, and also you can see the light bend. So I'm going to keep blocking it, see if I can level that out. I don't know whether I'll get it all down because I've got to watch the paint depths all the time, but there are bits of dirt in, and obviously the orange peel, looking down the panel, it's quite orange peely. So I'm just going to keep blocking. I've got most of the gremlins out on this panel, It's looking a lot better and a lot flatter. So we'll see what we can achieve here. So I'll carry on and I'll see you later. Just thought I'd show a little smidgen of what I'm doing with this panel. I'm obviously trying to get everything as flat as I can and get rid of the orange pearl right down to the line, because the middle part had been polished, but either side of it is quite a bit of orange pearl, and because I want to get the panel as flat as I can, just thought I'd show a minute of why it takes so long to do what we do. Is because I'm only treating a short area at a time, and I'm pulling down into the tape line. Now I've taped off just above the swage line so that I don't take the paint off the edges. And I'm just going to continually work the paper. I'm putting quite a lot of pressure on, especially when I'm pulling down to the tape line, because that's where I want to get rid of the orange peel more than the middle. But of course there's lots of little bits of dirt in the paint as well, which I'm trying to knock the heads off and get them down as well. That's enough of that for now, but I'll be doing the same spot 2 or 3, maybe 4 times until I'm happy that in the reflection I've got from the flatting that I'm getting rid of the orange peel. Right, I'll see you a little bit later. Well, I've just run the polisher a quick cut. I mean, I haven't cut all my flatting marks out, but I'm looking at the actual finish. The top half of the panel is, you know, with some polishing that'll come up to how I want it, but as I get down in the light, you can see still very orange peely. So I'm going to flat it all again, and I haven't got rid of all that dent. I mean, it is a dent, so I can't really get that out. If it hadn't been trimmed and all glued on inside the boot, I would have tried just giving it a tweak with a PDR tool, but it's going to have to stay there. Right, I'm just going to get on and flat it again. Best to check now before I finish flatting the whole panel to the same level, and then find I've got to flat the whole panel again. So I've still got to get lots of marks out of this edge. One thing we don't like doing is getting close to the swage lines because the paint's thinner, so I'll probably have to do this very carefully with a tiny wooden block, because it's just not good enough as far as I'm concerned anyway. Still see some movement in the light there and there. Right, I'm going to get back to it. See you in a bit.